Now, after decades of bitter debate, it looked like the Uvalde school massacre in Texas was going to finally push the United States towards tougher gun control. But today, the US Supreme Court has leaned the other way and opened the door for almost all Americans to legally carry concealed handguns in public. In New York, the law required people to show they had a specific need to carry a loaded gun. But this afternoon, America's most senior judges have now deemed that law a violation of the right to keep and bear arms under the US's Constitution's Second Amendment. Well, let's get more on this now with the US Sun's correspondent Christopher Ebert, who is in New York City for us. Chris, good evening. Now, New York had some of the tightest gun control laws in the States. How did this court decision come about?
Good evening, I guess, in the UK. But then you got to go back a little bit to President Trump. Former President Trump, he appointed 3 justices to the Supreme Court during his term as president, and that tilted the Supreme Court to a 6-3 conservative. And that's how they voted. They voted along party lines. Very conservative approach here. That's how they got here. The decision was very historical based versus what's going on now.
This is overturning a New York law that's been around for a while, though, hasn't it? Presumably
yes,
now there is this new composition, this Republican majority in the court. Thank you to Donald Trump to that. This will be the first of probably many challenges on gun law.
Yes, this opens the door now for other states to do the same thing. I mean, most states do have looser gun laws. New York State's one of the toughest. There's a lot of the Northeast states have this very strict gun law. But now this opens up another argument about whether it's states' rights versus the federal rights and who's the one to make these laws about, tightening up gun laws and stuff like that.
And all this, of course, while Congress finally came together and agreed some sort of package to tighten gun controls, background checks, etc. That will still go ahead while the Supreme Court goes the other way. A confusing picture for us over here.
It's very muddled, and it's very muddled over here, too. And that's why this decision was surprising, and it wasn't at the same time, just because it is a very... The America right now is very politicized. So the fact that there's 6-3 conservative versus liberal on the Supreme Court, you kind of knew that this was coming down. But given the state of what's going on right now in America with all these shootings, that's what became as a surprise. And I go back to a story that I did on May 11th for the US Sun. It's called Gun Crime Wave, Warning as the Summer of Violence Comes. And I spoke to the New York State representative in Blacks in Law Enforcement. And what he told me is that it's about to be a crazy summer. You can feel it in the air. And then within 2 weeks of that, I was in Buffalo covering the mass shooting there. And my colleague, Alex Diaz, was in Texas for the US Sun covering it there. So right after that, right in the wake of that, it seemed like the federal government and the New York state government were both moving towards tightening up these gun controls. And then this decision comes down today where it seemed to go in the opposite direction and loosen it.
OK. Chris Ebert from the US Sun, thank you.